Yes lads, and welcome back to another video, and this time we have me Premier League predictions. Let's go straight into this. So here we go, let's start off from the bottom of the Premier League table, and let's start off with who's getting relegated, and I think it's going to be the same promoted sides. I think it'll be Burnley, Sunderland and Leeds. Yeah, I mean in terms of signings, they've signed Kyle Walker, which is a very good signing. They've signed Dubravka from Newcastle after what's-his-face has left, James Trafford. They've also lost Josh Brownhill, who was their captain. That's quite a huge loss for them. But yeah, I think Burnley again, like same with the other promoted sides like Sunderland and Leeds, I think the gap in terms of quality is just too big. And then 19th, I have got Sunderland. Sunderland have made a lot of really good signings. They've got Xhaka in, which I think is probably the biggest signing we've ever seen from a promoted side. What he'll bring to Sunderland, he'll bring experience, he knows the Prem, he'll be their captain, he'll take set pieces, he'll take free kicks, he'll take a lot of majority of Sunderland's like set pieces. I don't know if he'll take their pens. Adingra, again, a decent little signing for him, Sunderland, from Brighton. Diarra, I don't know much about him. Lefeu, they've now signed permanently. Sadiq, Mandara, Ronaldo, don't know why I've read out his second name, but Ronaldo, the left back from Atletico Madrid. Talbi from Club Bruges. They've got a new keeper as well. Again, I don't know many of these signings. I only know Granit Xhaka and Adingra. But again, they've lost Job to Dortmund for 32 million, which is a good little business. But again, I just feel like a lot of these signings are, yes, they're quite good signings, but again, I think the gap is just too big for Sunderland to catch up in terms of surviving. But again, I could be wrong. I think it'll be close in terms of the relegation scrap this season. I really do. But again, Sunderland's squad is still relatively young, and it's the first time they've been back in the Prem in a while. So again, I think they will struggle, and yeah, I just cannot see them staying up, as well as Leeds. So Leeds have signed Mecca. I don't know who that is, from Wolfsburg. I've heard of the name, but again, I don't know much about him. They've signed Longstaff from Newcastle for 12 million. I know a little bit of Longstaff. I've seen him a fair few times at Newcastle, but again, he's not really a starter for them. I don't think really that'll help them in terms of staying up in the Prem. But again, I just feel like, yes, these clubs are making signings, but like I keep making the point, I think the gap is just way too big in terms of the step up from the Championship to the Prem. But again, we will see. I mean, I think it'll be close in terms of a relegation scrap this season. Yeah, let's just go straight into 17th. So in 17th, I have Brentford. Again, another team who I think will massively struggle this season. They've lost Mbeumo, Norgard as well to us. Obviously, Thomas Frank being the massive one there, the manager. They haven't replaced him. They've just got the set-piece coach. Again, will they do well with him? I don't think so. And they're about to lose Wissa as well. And yeah, I think Brentford concede a lot of goals anyways. So I feel like, again, there'll be another team that will be struggling down there. 16th, we have Wolves. Again, another team I think will struggle this season. Again, they've lost Cunha, who was a massive part of their squad, a massive player for them. Nori, again, another player for them. But again, same with Brentford, defensively, they're absolutely shocking. So Wolves have signed, obviously they've got Strand Larsen, says, yeah, permanently, which again, I think he's in for a massive season for Wolves. Guedes, Semedo, I forgot about that one. A lot of players have left Wolves. They've brought in few signings, not many. But again, I just see them struggling this season. I think they could be down there for the relegation scrap, but I still think they'll survive. But yeah, moving on to 15th, West Ham. West Ham, again, they've got some decent players, to be fair to them. I just don't know about them defensively this season. Again, with Graham Potter, I just don't know. Like, attacking-wise, I think they've looked alright in pre-season. Fulkrug's back now for them. He's been scoring goals in pre-season. Bowen, if they manage to keep him, that'll be huge for them. And then Paqueta as well, he's another key player for them. I know they've signed Callum Wilson from Newcastle, but again, he's another injury-prone player. But I think he will be alright at West Ham, nothing special. So they've signed Todibo from Nice for 35 million. I know a little bit of him, haven't seen much of him. That Juve from Slavia Prague, again, not seen much of him, but I've heard he's a decent little player. He's an attacking wing back, I've heard. Walker Peters as well, not a bad signing. New goalkeeper from Leicester, that Hermansen. Obviously, yeah, they've lost Kudus to Tottenham for 55 million. Again, that was a huge one. Antonio's gone, Zuma's gone, Danny Ings is gone. So yeah, a lot of players have lost West Ham, and they've signed a few players West Ham, but again, nothing special from West Ham this season. I think they'll do average at best. In 14th, I've got Bournemouth. Again, a lot of players have left Bournemouth, especially the defence. I think they'll struggle defensively this season, and I think they'll concede a lot of goals. I know they're on the verge of signing that, actually saying that, I think they've signed that player from Lille, that centre-back, that Kite, Diakate, whatever you want to pronounce his name. I know they've signed him, which is a decent little signing. Again, don't really watch much French football. I only watch the Prem, really. Oh, they've got that Petrovic from Chelsea for 25 million. He's a decent little goalkeeper for them. After now that Kepa's obviously gone to us for 5 million. Ziabani again, he went to PSG. Kirkes, Hoyson. Pretty much the defence is pretty much gone, and obviously I know they've brought that centre back from Lille, but again, defensively I think they'll struggle. I do like what's his face, the manager, Areola. I think he's a quality manager. What he done last season was really good. I mean, look at the players they got rid of. I mean, they made really good money on them, on Zabani, Kirkes and Hoyson, especially getting like 100 odd million for them. So Bournemouth have done really well in that aspect, but again, I think they'll struggle defensively this season. In 13th, I've got Fulham. I don't think they've made much business this season. I think they've kept pretty much majority of their players, and yeah, again, I think Fulham have been quite quiet. Yeah, they've only made one signing in Lecomte or Benjamin Lecomte. I think that's the keeper, I want to say. And in terms of outgoings, Vinicius is gone, Willian's gone. So yeah, again, Fulham, not much in, not much out. So again, I think they'll be, yeah, where did I say I'll put them? 13th. I still like Fulham. I think Marco Silva's done a good job at Fulham. But again, I just kind of say nothing special from Fulham this season. They haven't done anything. They haven't got many signings out. I think that Harry Wilson will be a very good player for them this season. He's been cooking in pre-season. And yeah, Fulham 13th. Then in 12th, I've got Crystal Palace. And I think Europe will affect them a little bit. And I do feel a little bit bad for them now that they're in the conference and not in the Europa League, which I find absolutely mad. I think they should be in the Europa League, but I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, I think Crystal Palace, if they can manage to keep the likes of Eze, Mateta, I think Mateta will stay. You've got Saar as well, that Wharton as well. He's a really good player. He was really good in the Community Shield against Liverpool, which they'd won. Gay as well. I mean, if they manage to keep these players, I think Palace will still do alright, but if they manage to lose like the likes of Eze or Gueye, I think they will go a little bit lower down the table, and as Europe as well will affect them this season. But I like Glasner, I like what he's done in his first season at Palace, and if he continues to do so, do well, I think, like I say, Europe will affect them this season, and yeah, I'll just expect them to be a little bit lower down the table. Then in 11th, I've got Nottingham Forest, same like I said about Palace. I think Europe will affect them a little bit, and I've heard in pre-season they haven't been that good in terms of attacking output after now they've lost Elanga to Newcastle. I think, yeah, he was a massive part to their attack, and yeah, I think again Europe will affect them this season, and it'll just be a lot of games, and how will they cope? I think they'll be lower down the table, and they managed to keep Gibbs White, which was huge. I think if they did lose him to Tottenham, I think I would have had them a little bit lower, but again, I think with Gibbs White, them keeping them, I think is huge. They're going to need him desperately for this new season, but again, I don't expect Forest to be anything special like they were last season. I think they'll have a massive drop off. So yeah, I think they'll be in 11th. Then in 10th, I have Brighton. So Brighton have signed De Cooper, or De Kuiper, whatever you want to pronounce his name. Again, I'm probably butchering these names a lot. From Club Bruges. I've heard he's like an attacking like fullback. Again, don't know much about him. Tom Watson from Sunderland, he's back at the club. Again, I don't really know many of these players that Brighton have got, but again, Brighton are one of them clubs that where like the recruitment team and the scouting is unbelievable. They've always been spot on with signings. In terms of outgoings, I mean, they've got rid of quite a few players, like again, Adingra to Sunderland, Evan Ferguson's left on loan to Roma, Estepinan's left to go to AC Milan, but they could be losing that Baleba, but again, I think they're in no pressure to sell after what I've heard from Sky Sports. He's still got 3 years left on his contract. Yeah, I can't really see him leaving unless Man United do have the money for him. Yep, so in 9th place I have Everton, which is quite surprising. I think they're in for a good season, new stadium as well. They've signed the likes of that Jack Grealish. I think he will be good for them. I think it is a good move for him as well, especially. Because I think this is the sort of signing that will push Everton up towards like the mid-table. And as well, they've signed that Shrewsbury Hall. Yeah, Shrewsbury Hall for 29 million from Chelsea. That is a decent little signing for Everton. That Alcaraz now they've signed permanently. Travers from Bournemouth. Again, don't really know much about him. I didn't really watch much of Bournemouth last season. But again, I think Shrewsbury Hall as well as Jack Grealish will be two players that will be very good for Everton, I think. Especially if Shrewsbury Hall is going to play in that number 10 position. And Dye as well, if they can keep him. Who else have they signed? Not really many players, well, from what I'm looking at. But if they've got Pickford and Go, another good goalkeeper. Defensively, Everton were really good last season as well. If they can keep Braithwaite fit as well, I think Everton are really in for a decent season. Aston Villa, I've got in 8th, and I just think Europe again will affect them, but I don't think it will affect them too much in terms of like what I said about Forest and Palace. I think they've still got the quality players to do it, the manager to do it. I think they'll have a really good run in Europe, but again, I think they'll still have that drop off since they are in Europe. I think they'll really have a good go in Europa League, and obviously Unai Emery knows the Europa League and he's really good at winning that. So yeah, I think Aston Villa will focus on that a little bit more than the Prem, but again, I don't know. They've got some really good players. Aston Villa, they've got Tielemans, that Onana. Obviously, they've still kept Watkins as I'm recording this. That Marlon, he's been alright in pre-season. Rodgers, again. Attacking wise and midfield wise, they've got some really good players. I just don't know about them defensively. Again, Villa have always been suspect defensively. And obviously, I know they've lost Rashford. He was only a loan. Yeah, Villa haven't really made any signings or like any outgoings that would affect the first team really. And then moving on to 7th I have got Newcastle. Again, not many signings made by Newcastle. I know they've signed Elanga from Forest. Again, another decent little signing. They needed someone on that right hand side for competition for Jacob Murphy. Again, with the Isak situation, it looks like he wants to leave, but again, depending on if Liverpool get him or not, I don't know. I mean, like, the situation's a bit ridiculous at the minute. I mean, Isak does want to leave, of course he does, but the way he's going on saying he doesn't want to train with them and he doesn't want to be playing for Newcastle anymore is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, the way he's going on, and that's the thing. If he was playing for Newcastle, I think I would have Newcastle a little bit higher than 7th. But again, I am considering that the fact that they've got Champions League as well. Will they have the depth for that? I'm not so sure. In terms of signings Newcastle have made, I know I've mentioned Elanga. Yeah, they've signed that Elanga. They've signed that Cordero from Malaga. Again, he's just a young player, not going to feature that much for Newcastle. Ramsdale on loan, I forgot about that. Again, I think that'll be a decent little signing for them. Well, I know it's only on loan, but I think they will. If he does well this season for Newcastle, I think he could sign permanently. He's a better keeper than Pope in terms of he's playing out from the back. I think he's better with his feet, but in terms of shot stopping, I think Pope is better at shot stopping. But again, with the way Newcastle want to play out from the back, they need to keep out and play with his feet, and I think Ramsdale does that. I think he will be alright for Newcastle. And then they've signed that new centre-half from AC Milan. Again, don't know much about him. That Malik Touar. Honestly, these names, I don't know much about him. Again, I know he was like 4th choice centre-back for AC Milan. But again, they needed a centre-half to cover for Botman, because Botman was injured a lot last season. Yeah, not many signings for Newcastle. And in terms of outgoings, obviously, they've got rid of Dubravka. They've got rid of that Vlahidimos, that goalkeeper. Sean Longstaff to Leeds. Callum Wilson's finally gone. Jamal Lewis has been released. Lloyd Kelly for 20 million. I know that was in January, but again, I'm just reading out what's in front of us. But again, yeah, I think Europe will affect Newcastle this season, and I don't think they'll be as good as last season. Even when Newcastle were good at the start, they dropped off a little bit near the end and just managed to get Champions League football. But yeah, I think Newcastle are in for a disappointing season. But again, could be wrong. I think Eddie Howe is a good coach. I think with the signings he's made, I think he will improve them as well. They've got a good team, Newcastle, so that's why I've got them 7th. And then in 6th, this could be controversial. Now, though, the more we go up the table, I've actually got Spurs. I don't know why I've got Spurs there. Like, I mean, after the season they've had, finishing nearly, what was it? I think it was 15th, 16th they finished. 17th? I don't know. One of them and United, honestly, the season they had was absolutely ridiculous. And to even put them 6th is a bit mad. But again, I think Thomas Frank, the manager, will have a really good season with Tottenham. I think he is a better manager than Ange. I know that could be controversial to say, but in terms of tactics and how we'll set them up, I think defensively they'll be a lot better this season. I've already seen glimpses of them in pre-season a little bit that they've been defensively better. Obviously, I know against Bayern they lost like 4 or 5-0, but that's Bayern. But in terms of when they played us in the pre-season, they were defensively a lot better. And then signings, again, I mentioned Kudus earlier on. That's a good sign for them. Obviously, they've now lost Thon, but again, I think he was getting on a bit now, and yeah, I think he needed a change. He was there for 7 years, and yeah, he needed to leave Tottenham. But again, he's been a really good player for them, so he's left on a high note. They've signed that Danzo for 20 million from Lens. That Tell from Bayern, again, he's a decent little player. Palhinha as well, I think that'll be really good in terms of the midfield pivot. I think he'll offer them more defensively. They haven't really made that many signings. They've made a few. Again, they've got rid of who have they got rid of? They've got rid of Reguilon. He's gone now. Højbjerg. Not many players that will affect the first team, but again, it's a difficult one to tell. Will they finish above Newcastle, or will Newcastle finish above them? Just depends on who. Like, it depends on Europe, really. Like, I feel like Tottenham might go out of Europe first, and then Newcastle. But again, I don't know. That's what I mean. You don't know the fixtures and all that and stuff and all that. You don't know how well they're gonna do. But it's a close one between Newcastle and Tottenham. I was tempted to put Newcastle above Tottenham, but I think with the Isak situation, if he doesn't play, I think that will massively affect them going forward. Yeah, I've just got a strong feeling about Tottenham this season. I think they will do massively better than what they've done last season. But I could be massively wrong on that. I think they'll definitely be mid-table, I would say. At least they've got to be after the season they've had. But to put them 6 is, yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. But let me know where you think Tottenham would finish this season. It would be interesting to know where you'd think Tottenham will finish. Then moving on to the top 5. In 5th, I've got Manchester United. Again, another controversial one after the season they've had. But again, I've liked the signings they've made, especially in Burmo and as well as Cunha, 2 Prem proven players that will just instantly improve their attack. Sesko as well, completely forgot about that again. Another young promising striker who we were linked with. Again, I think that'll be a really good sign for them for the future as well. He's only 22, 23 I believe. I think he'll massively improve their attack. You've just got like the midfield starting to slowly but surely get there if they do get Baleba. Fernandez as well, I think he's in for another good season. I think he's really key for United. He's a good figure for them. Defensively, they're starting to look alright, as well as getting Shaw back for the new season. Will he stay fit? Don't know about that. And then De Ligt again, Mazwari. Again, the squad is starting to look alright. I think they still need a new centre-half and obviously a midfielder and a goalkeeper. I think the goalkeeper is a massive issue. I think Onana's just not good enough. And the amount of mistakes he makes, like we've seen it last season and we've seen how bad he is as a goalkeeper. So yeah, they need to get a new one. And then in terms of outgoings, I know they got Lindelof's gone, and Eriksen's gone, Rashford's gone. Again, he needed to leave. I think it was for the best. And then, oh yeah, I forgot about Mason Mount. I think he's in for a good season. Again, if he stays fit for United. But again, he looks good in pre-season. But yeah, I think United could actually cook this season. Their attack's looking scary. Diallo I forgot to mention. But United are starting to slowly but surely looking better in terms of their attack. I think they'll score a lot of goals. But again, I think defensively, they'll still be suspect. But I think attacking wise, I think they'll be very, very good. And then for the top 4, now, I think Man City will finish 4th. The reason for that, I think, defensively, I just don't trust them. Yes, I know they've signed the likes of Nori, Reinders, well, not from AC Milan. Again, he looks alright in pre-season. He'll be decent for them in the midfield. Cherki as well. Again, I haven't really seen much of him, but again, he's a decent little player. Trafford as well. But again, how much game time will he get? I don't think he'll get much in terms of game time. I think Edison will still be the number 1, but it's a good thing to have to keep us for that competition. And then, yeah, obviously De Bruyne has gone. I mean, he was getting on a bit anyways. And then Kyle Walker again, who I mentioned, is gone. But I still don't think City defensively will be that good. I mean, I think they'll be better than they were last season defensively, I think. With Nori in, I think their defence will be Vardiol and Ruben Dias as the 2 centre-halves, and then I think Rico Lewis maybe playing right back, and then as well as Nori playing left back. And then, yeah, I can see them doing really well attacking wise. Obviously, Haaland, Reinders, Foden, Savinho. I mean, he could be leaving Spurs. I forgot to mention that. But again, they could be getting Rodrigo as well. But I've got no doubt about Man City's attack. It's unbelievable. Obviously, Marmoush as well. But I just think City are just suspect defensively. And hence the reason why I've got Chelsea in 3rd. Chelsea have done really good in terms of business and as well as outgoings as well as incomings, because honestly they've been very busy this summer. They've got rid of a lot of players as well as bringing in players. João Pedro again, he's been really good this pre-season. Liam Delap again, he's been good coming off the bench. Another really good signing. That Gittins from Dortmund, I haven't seen much of him, but again, could be a good signing for them. That Estevao from Brazil, he looks like a decent little player, young promising talent. In terms of outgoings though, Petrovic gone, Arrizabalaga for 5 million to Arsenal, Madueke again to Arsenal for 52 million, Broja's gone, Gue's gone, Artuchuku's gone, Shrewsbury Hall's gone, João Felix has gone. A lot of players have gone from Chelsea, but again, they needed to get rid of a lot of players and they're still looking to get rid of players. I mean, Xavi Simon's looking like he's going. Jackson looks like he's still going. And yeah, Chelsea have been very busy in terms of this summer, and I think they're really on for a good season. I think they will challenge. I do believe that. I think Palmer will be so key for them this season. He doesn't have a good as season as he did compared to previous season when he was at Chelsea, but again, he's still a top player. I think again he will be key for Chelsea, as he always is. Yeah, I just think Chelsea, in terms of attack, really good. Midfield, Caicedo, Enzo, again, looking really good in the midfield. Defensively, again, they've lost. I mean, if they can keep Reece James fit, I think he'll be alright this season. I don't really know their defence that well. I mean, obviously, I know they've lost Colwell. He's going to be out majority of the season. But I think that's the one area I'd say about Chelsea defensively. But again, I've seen where like Chelsea defensively last season were actually alright. But again, will that translate into next season? I don't know. I think they just need a new keeper. But again, Sanchez has been good in the Club World Cup. Yeah, I think I've generally got that good feeling that Chelsea will do well and challenge for the title. But again, I think the other two I'm about to mention will be up there, and I think it'll be close, let's put it that way. I don't think it'll be like the 90 plus points this season in terms of the title. I think it'll be a lot lower than that. I think it'll be like maybe 70s to 80 points to win the title this season. But here we go. I've got in second, I've got Liverpool. I've got Liverpool in second. And of course, yes, I am backing Arsenal to win the title yet again. I was tempted to put Arsenal in second, but I think the reason why I've got Arsenal first is because we finally, after 4 or 5 years, after replacing Aubameyang, we finally have a centre forward. I think Gyökeres will be that difference maker, and like I say, for this season we've got no excuses. We finally have our striker, we have the team now, and if we don't win anything this season, then Arteta's gonna be, I don't think he'll be sacked, I don't think the board will sack him, but he'll be under so much pressure this season. And again, if he doesn't win anything next season, well, if he doesn't win anything at all this season, there's going to be a lot of fans on his back. But we will see this season. I think Gyökeres, from what I've seen in pre-season, well, I've only seen him play a couple of games and he looks really good, let's put it that way. We're actually playing to his strengths, especially in that Bilbao game that I watched. He was really good in that game. He could have scored another when he scored that first goal. Zubimendi as well, I think, has been a very good signing for us. Madueke, I've seen glimpses off the left. I think he's a lot better than Martinelli. Kepa, another decent backup keeper for Raya. And then Christian Norgard again, he scored in pre-season as well. He looks a decent backup as well for the midfield. Mosquera, again, he looks alright. He can play right back as well as centre half. Another good young promising player. And then in terms of outgoings, Jorginho, Tierney, Nuno Tavares, Marquinhos, Tomiyasu's gone now, Partey is now gone. But I just think this season, I think it'll be Gyökeres that will make the difference for us to win the title. And if he can get 20 plus goals this season, I think that will be enough to win the title, as well as like goals from other areas, especially from Saka. The defence from Arsenal again is one of the best in Europe. Let's move on to Liverpool, because Liverpool have had a really good summer transfer window. That Ekitike, he looks alright for them. I've only seen him play in the Community Shield. He looks alright. Kirkes from Liverpool, again, they needed a new fullback. Robertson again wasn't good last season, so they needed to get a new left back in. Wirtz for £116 million. Again, I think that is a huge signing for them. He'll be a big part in terms of their attack. Frimpong as well, again, another player from Leverkusen who they've needed to fill in that right back position. Is he as good as Trent? I think he's a different type of player to Trent. We'll see on that. Again, I don't know about him defensively, but attacking wise, I think he'll be very influential in that attack. Like I said, Ekitike, he'll be a decent little player for them. He's only like 22, 23, I believe. maybe a little bit younger than that, but again, he had a really good season in Germany last season, and yeah, I think he'll be a decent player for them. And then in terms of outgoings, they've got rid of Núñez finally. I think that was needed. He wasn't good enough for Liverpool. Trent's obviously gone. Kelleher's obviously gone. He was a decent backup for Alisson, but he wanted game time clearly. And then Kwanzaa's gone to Leverkusen. Luis Diaz has went to Bayern. Again, they've got a decent money for him for 65 million. In terms of summer windows, I think Liverpool have had the best so far. Everyone's expecting them to be favourites for the Prem, and it's no surprise really after they've just won the Premier League title last season. But this might just be my biases, and obviously I normally am biased when it comes to Arsenal, and I just felt like if we didn't sign Gyökeres or if we didn't sign a striker this summer, I would have put Liverpool top. But now that we finally have that striker, we don't have any excuses this season. We've got the team, we've got the defence, we've got the midfield, we've got the attack now. Well, you could say we need a left winger or slash like 10, hence why we've been linked with Eze. But I feel like if we do get Eze, I think that even pushes us a little bit further. But like I said, it's the left-hand side that's been an issue for Arsenal. I think Martinelli hasn't been good enough on that left-hand side, so I think we'll probably see Madueke play on the left a lot. But again, he is versatile, he can play on the right as well. But I think we need one more signing, and I think it is Eze, to be honest, or Rodrigo, one of them two, but it's more likely that we'll get Eze, because with Rodrigo's wages being absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I do fancy us again this season, like I always do. The past 2 seasons, I fancied us, and we finished second again. Ale. Yeah, I've just got to back us. We've got that centre forward now, so I'm fully expecting us to hopefully win the title. Hopefully, because I mean, we've been knocking on the door for 3 or 4 seasons now. We've finished second 3 times. Or 4 times, I don't know how many times it is, but the second is the new 4th for us now. I feel like this has to be the season, and I feel like it will be the season. I think if we do win the title, I think it'll be deserved, in my opinion, because we've been, like I said, knocking on the door for a while now, and yeah, I'm just going to back us to win the title. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the video. Leave in the comments down below what you think of my predictions for the new upcoming season, and let me know how excited you are for the new coming season, and I'm surely am. Again, please leave a like on the video if you have enjoyed it. Again, subscribe if you are new, it really helps out the channel a lot, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later.